Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 23rd of April. First things first, let's look at the news events that are due out today. Well, we've got the PMI data, we've got the flash services and manufacturing data starting at 8:15. We're running across 8:15, 8:30, 9:30 for the UK, and then we're running to 2:45 for the US data. Now we do have today quite a few earnings of the major US companies here: General Electric, UPS, General Motors. So at around about 1:30. But I was reading earlier on, there's around about 40% of the by capital of companies reporting this week, so it could be quite a biggie move. We've also got Tesla later on, post trading reporting, so there's quite a few later coming through. In fact, it is there are Tesla, so that's and Visa. 10 o'clock, 10:30. So we've got a few later on as well, and they're the biggies. So watch out for some volatility today. That's why I would suggest. Now, key factors, other news I've been reading through here this morning, is that the Japanese are talking about they could intervene to prop up the yen at any time. Whilst it didn't have much of an impact on the market this morning, as they've done so, the yen is currently the strongest of all the pairs, and well, there is that risk, so it sort of takes it off the table. I could just sort of look for trading the long on the yen on something, but there is that, as I say, that risk of it not happening, and you get stopped out. And of course it's against trend. If you look at most of the yen pairs, in fact, we'll start off with the US dollar yen this morning. Why do I want to sell against that at the moment? Because the markets haven't believed in this intervention chat now. We've been sitting there, we pushed up, we did have a retrace at one stage, to be fair. I don't know if that was all intervention chat. But anyway, it moves back up. It broke the sort of these key highs here, and is pushing up, and is looking relatively solid for the next level at this stage. But maybe that will be a bridge too far. Right, so yen off the table for me, really, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, coming back, let's look at the euro dollar. Now this is it's a consolidated ball. When you start looking down in a bit more detail, you see this horrible wedge shape. The thing with this particular shape in price action is you're no better off than a 50-50 toss of the coin here. It's not reliable. It often flick one way, then go completely through the opposite side. But there again, it might not even do that. It might go both sides and get really quite messy and then do something. It's not a reliable pattern, so it rules the euro out for me pretty much. I was looking earlier on about 7 o'clock-ish time, and it started moving down here quite quickly at one stage. I thought, oh, that might be a quick old move today, and most of that's now taken back. So but overall, well, that is an unreliable time to be trading, but also the pattern is very unreliable. I'm ruling things out already here. The yen pairs, the euro, well, not necessarily all the euro pairs. It might look better elsewhere, but we'll see. The pound dollar, daily wise here, it's in a firm downward trend here. It had consolidated just like the euro had, but it broke down on Friday, and again yesterday continued through there. It's moving away from its my pivotal level here, which was quite key, and it's below that level. Now it's running down towards its quarterly S2, or it's running to its quarterly S2 here, so it really has sold off. Normally this level would hold things, and it might yet hold it up, but it's yeah, quite in a mix. Yesterday it was the daily S2 and the quarterly S2 at the same time there, so got a bit of confluence of the pivots. It's holding around that time at the moment. A rollover today could see that retested. We've got the S1 sitting at that area, and that would be quite a nice target for a retest. It's certainly cleaner than the price action on the euro, but we'll see what it does this morning. Anything breaking up the highs here, if we see the US equity markets rally, we could see the euro rally and the other currencies rally against the US dollar. We might see something a little bit more shift that way, but we'll see. I'm not 100% convinced on the equity market rallies. As I mentioned, the yen, I've done the yen already. Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar's been recovering in the short term here. I'd left a benchmark there yesterday below its weekly pivot to see if it triggered that to give me an alert for the continuation. But effectively, it's taken out the high between the two lows there now. We could see it pushing up further. It's also sitting again another pivot area that I've drawn on the charts here from way back. These aren't sort of new lines. This is just where the price seems to sit. Previously, it's been at highs and lows, and again, it's done the same sort of pattern here. Now there'll be some people suggesting that's a head and shouldery pattern here. Well, I'm not worried about the head and shoulders. What I can see is the waves here. There's sort of 1, 2, 3. Well, has it got more to go? It's putting higher lows in this intermediate, well, this shorter term time frame. Intermediate time frame, well, as I say, it's taken out the highs between the two lows, so could have more to run on that. It's important how it starts moving this morning. It's actually now trying to sell back under. It was looking prettier just a short while ago, believe me. Canadian dollar on a daily basis, it's obviously the US dollar strengthened and sold, the Canadian dollar duly sold, but we've seen this sort of run into its monthly S3, R3. It's equivalent to the S3. It's inverted, of course, because it's a US dollar CAD, so my brain just goes into inversion mode anyway. But it's R3, so and it's rolled back there. It's okay, might be catching another move there, but again here it's broken, giving us a lower high on the 4 hourlies here. It took out that low between the previous two highs there as well, so it's looking just that bit softer. Now looking at the lower time frames, and I'm just sort of looking at this, and it may be a run into the daily pivot. Might give a bit of a flaggy sort of pattern for a continuation, and a move down towards its S1. A bit of a continuation would be good. One thing to watch with this, and I'm watching it carefully, is how spiky it's being. Like yesterday, 2 o'clock there, it spiked right the way up there. Anyone trying to catch away with tight stops on this are just going to get stopped, and only to be right. So you've got to be looking at putting sensible stops on these markets at the moment. People think they're getting in cheaply, but they're not. New Zealand dollar, well, it's consolidating like many of the others at the moment here. It is one of the weaker currencies, or pairings in this particular case. Not managing to break the high as we've seen with the Aussie at the moment. It's moving back off again. Again, if this was to break below its weekly pivot there, it could be interesting. It's a bit rangy in terms of the overall price action. Below the daily pivot, weekly pivot, it could be interesting on the short side. We'll see what's happening. There is that sort of short-term push to the upside, but not convincing. It's softer. US dollar Swissy. Well, the Swiss is yielding, and the US dollar's pushing up again. I mean, yesterday it wasn't a major day or anything like this, but it's just looking that little bit slowly. It's such a mess when I look at last week and what it did here. Do I really want to be in this? I mean, if you've got to be in this, again, big stops. give it a wide berth, but it is moving up there. Euro yen, uncertainty sitting around the yen. I'll leave that alone for now. Euro pound, the euro strength, well, the pound's weakness really more than the euro strength here, seen this break out the tops here. It does tend to break out of its ranges at times. Maybe we'll see it running up towards its quarterly, yearly pivot even. We haven't seen it catch there properly yet. It sort of did it a bit early there, never got back to it. Might be drawn up that way. Okay, I'm going to leave the major crosses at that stage. Let's just a quick look at the other markets then. Gold. Gold's slipping off again today. Yesterday it just couldn't recover here. I was looking at the sentiment. We did the sentiment analysis through a lot of these markets. Do you know, most markets apart from the US dollar are sitting there pretty weak at the moment. There's not a lot of trust in these markets. So I'm just running back as I'm speaking to try and find my little page of my analysis there. Yeah, but actually even the US dollar was being sold effectively. Everything looked weak yesterday by the money. The big money just not liking, probably going into bonds or something, because it was soft on everything. Certainly soft on the euro again. The pound, the yen, Aussie, CAD, New Zealand, Swissy. Believe it or not, the S&P's quite a big turn there. That might change around, but it's quite bearish there. Maybe taking profits before the news comes out. Who knows? Oil and gold, all looking soft there. I was surprised with gold, but again, profit taking may be the order of the day there for some of the traders. So it has broken down, and well, solid down day yesterday. Lower highs kicking in there, just looking quite weak at the moment. Crude, one day I'll be able to trade this again one day, he says. Just yesterday, look at it. What sort of day was that? I nearly wrote to someone, but I didn't know who to write to. Where's the price action going in yesterday? It just did pick up. Look at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It started moving a little bit, but it's just dull. No real action going on there. Consolidation around the lows. A break of this monthly pivot, and the 50 MA might see a better opportunity there. S&Ps, well, they did recover a bit yesterday. We did see we've seen a little higher low there. There's some, maybe a little bit skip back in the step, but you've got to just remember, whilst this on, well, there's a lot of companies reporting. Has been this year we've seen a lot of upside already, and well, are we going to see big rallies? Questionable, maybe, but sometimes it's better off just to sit there a little while, unless you've got something setting up really nice. But there's a lot of risk this week, effectively, into these markets with new news coming out. Will we get people selling on the news? There's big expectations that earnings are going to be up significantly. We've got 40% of the market capitalization, or the companies that hold 40% of the market capitalization, reporting this week. It's going to be a biggie. Nasdaq, well, looking at these on a daily, but yep, they pipped up, but how much they're going to go? Are they going to really get a leg up? As I said, there's a lot of high expectation from the stocks that are reporting. It's whether the market buys into them, or traders buy into them. Looking at the DAX, then the DAX is being bought into. It's done quite a nice little reversal yesterday. It was reasonably clean, pushed out through this original trend line. It's back into it, but this time, instead of failing, it did part break here as well of the original trend line that was sitting there. Well, for now, it's breaking again and looking a bit more positive. So already this morning through its R1, R2, quite a possibility as we push on through there. This it's got the springs skipping its feet. The FTSE making new yearly highs here. Really catching on. This just didn't look like it was going to go anywhere. Give it last month, and it's got quite ugly, but it's done ugly quite well in terms of moving up. But crikey, it needs some wide old stops, or be patient with this one. Anyway, there we go. I'll leave it there for now. I wish you a great day's trading. If you're for the YouTubers, I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye for now. Okay.